Welcome, everyone. Thanks for attending. My name is Eddie Kim. I'm the Regional Director for the West Region for TradeRev. What we do as a company is we host live digital one-hour mobile auctions. Right from your smartphone, you're able to buy and sell wholesale pieces in a dealer-to-dealer network. So we're using technology to increase the speed, the efficiency, and create velocity within a dealership. TradeRev was first launched by a car dealer that had a passion for technology. So it's got the car dealer's mentality in mind. So he wanted to create trust, transparency, and velocity within his dealership on the wholesale side of things. So he started to code and develop what we know as TradeRev today, being used in thousands of dealerships across multiple countries, Canada, the US, and the UK. I myself have had various roles within the company, both in Canada, here in the US. Right now, we're getting ready to open up the West region and introduce TradeRev to the West region. So we'll be starting in the first quarter with California, so pretty excited about that. Today, though, what we're going to be talking about is mobile technology, understanding the mobile user, mobile tech, and how to best use it within your dealership. Why are we here? I want you to take three things away as you leave today's session. Buy into mobile, so B-U-Y, buy into mobile. So buy is be willing to disrupt yourself, challenge yourself, innovate yourself. Number two is you. So use mobile technology to set yourself apart, okay, from the competition from other dealerships. And why is you have to win those micro moments. Micro moments, and we'll get into details in all of this, is something critical for you to win at the end of this day. So I was recently listening to something, and there was a cardiologist by the name of Meyer Friedman up in the Bay Area who had developed, he helped coin type A personality, and in his waiting room, he brought the upholsterer in, and the upholsterer says, for some funny reason, the front edge of the seats were all worn out. And he started thinking, why would, all they're here to do is see the cardiologist, yet they're sitting on the edge and living on the edge of their seats, just like many people do. And I started thinking about car dealers as well. So he coined what we now know as an epidemic called hurry sickness. So hurry sickness is feeling chronically rushed, never enough time, often frustrated, easily irritated, a vague sense of uneasiness, and feeling like you're impatient. So he developed a little diagnostic test to determine for hurry sickness. I'm going to give you a part of that test and ask if you might suffer from hurry sickness. You know, confession, admission, it's good for the soul. So we'll do a mass confession, and I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if you think you're guilty of hurry sickness. If you experience, well, not yet. That's exactly what I mean. I've got the info, let me move on with it. Like, get over it, let's just move on, right? So, for example, hurry sickness, you get to a red light. There's two cars parked at the lane, and based on year, make, and model, you're determining which car is going to move ahead faster, because God forbid, you can't be stuck behind the slower one, right? Another example is if you're at the grocery mart checking out. You get to the line, and you don't just go to check out. You determine line A, line B. How many people are in line A? How many people are in line B? How efficient does that checkout person look? How many items are in each cart? And you start thinking, I'm going to get into line A, but if you're really sick, you track line B where you would have been, and if that person checks out ahead of you, you're depressed for like the next hour, right? So now that we know what hurry sickness is, how many people suffer from hurry sickness? I do as well. Not just car dealers, but it's very applicable to our society, but also the rest of this world. So we're pulled in so many different directions. Yes?
So is it just, maybe it's just competitiveness?
Competitiveness?
Is that a side effect, or is it one and the same factor?
Yeah, I think it's always feeling like I've got to keep doing stuff, otherwise someone else might be doing it. Try to be more efficient. But what I want you to take away from today is use mobile technology to create efficiencies in your lives. Work smarter, not harder, right? How are you going to use mobile technology to make it a game changer for yourself and your dealership, your business. Drive your business forward with the advantages that mobile tech is providing in today's day and age. So you probably noticed a bunch of the icons here. You've probably used Uber or Lyft. You've probably listened to songs on iTunes, streamed movies with Netflix, maybe tweeted something, been on Facebook with a post. People touch their phones on average 2,600 times. You might have the itch today, even during this session, your phone vibrates and you reach to your phone, right? Thinking, I've got to check that phone. 2,600 times in a day, people click, swipe, touch, scroll through their phones. They're picking their phone up from first thing in the morning, and I did it this morning. I picked up my phone to check what time it was. People check how many messages have come in. So we know what people are doing. We know what people, tendencies are becoming more and more. Go to the mobile phone. You think about if you're watching a TV show, you're winding down for the night, you're still multitasking with your phone, whether it's checking emails, following up, responding, or maybe researching something. People that don't innovate, people that don't adopt to the changing times, and we know the car industry is always changing. You'll find that you're behind the times, you'll find that your business might suffer, or in cases like Kodak, in cases like Blockbuster, there are situations where there's been stable companies that fail to adopt, fail to innovate, and now they're out of business. There was a study that I came across that said 90% of users consult their phone while in a physical store. While they're in a physical store, they're looking for competitive pricing. Maybe they're looking for information, specs. It just happened to me a few days ago. I took my son, we were looking for drones, and we found one. But then I started searching right away, like, what's the reviews on this drone? What's the pricing? Is it priced better somewhere else? And sure enough, I was able to find a more competitive price that I got the store to honor. But people are multitasking, attached to their phones all the time. So that brings us to, how does that affect today's car shopper? The words car dealership near me, that search in Google, that search on the internet has tripled over the past year. That's pretty incredible. It shows the behavior of what people are actually doing now. 1 in 4 car buyers have used their smartphone to research for the car that they're going to purchase. 5-6 years ago, people were making 5 to 7 visits to dealerships before entering the dealership. Now it's only down to 1 to 2 visits. So if that person is in the store, because they've done all the research ahead of time, you've got a small window of opportunity to win that customer over. They're not there because they're not interested in buying a car. They haven't drove an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever the case it is to your dealership because they're not interested. They are interested. They're ready to make that purchase. And it's up to you and your teams to win that purchase, to win that customer over. 63% of people compare vehicles using mobile devices. 75% would consider buying entirely online if possible. And that's coming. The day where you can buy a vehicle with your thumbprint, right? You can do that with so many different things right now. It's coming to the point where we can buy a car with our thumbprint. The average person spends 15 hours of research before making their decision on how they're going to move forward, what they're going to buy. So today's car buyer, what are they searching up? They're searching up the price of the car, what their trade's worth, what dealerships are close to them, what are some of the sales going on, and they're comparing different models. So they're doing research of specs, information, of warranty information, and what you as dealers, what you as teams have to do is get ahead of that. Know that that's what they're researching and be able to provide that information to them. 41% of consumers did not buy a car from the dealership they visited. And the reason was because they didn't have the inventory. So that leads to another question. What are you doing to source your inventory? If you're on the same channels over and over again, and you're looking at the same ways to source your inventory, you're probably missing out on some other valuable opportunities there. So be able to use mobile, use technology to be able to source your vehicles as well. We'll take a look at 3 different buyers and kind of what they go through and what that looks like as they go through that customer purchasing experience. We've got Catherine, we've got Preston, and we've got Alex. So Catherine, she's your traditionalist. She likes to go to the dealership. She's probably, late 20s, maybe early 40s. She's definitely looking to buy and not lease, but she's going to do hours and hours of research on Google, on some internet search engine to help her make that decision. She's looking at cars.com, KBB, Car Guru, Edmunds, Carfax. She's looking at those keywords. So that's one potential opportunity, right? You've got the traditionalist. They do like that personal relationship. They're looking to establish that relationship with the dealership, with the salesperson, and make the deal. You've got the socially dependent, early 20s, mid 30s, early adopters to technology. They are highly driven by their peers. So they're on social media, they're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, looking for approval from their peers, not just for car purchases, but for anything. Even restaurant recommendations, right? The reviews, you've got peer reviews on Google, Uber, Yelp, highly drive and motivate what they're going to do and what their actions will be. You think about if you're ever traveling and you're unfamiliar with the area. I do this all the time. First thing I do is I look on Yelp. Which restaurant am I going to go to? Does it have enough reviews? And of the reviews, is it strong enough? Right? Is it a good rated restaurant? If it is, chances are I'm probably going to go there. So it's really important to establish your brand, establish your dealership, and get the trust out of the peer and the peer network. Because these types of people, the socially dependent, aren't afraid to follow brands on Twitter or Facebook. And in fact, they're probably most likely to make purchases through those connections that they have. When they have that peer approval, they are willing to spend what it takes to get what they want. Most of them, 90% of people that are socially dependent feel that the social media influences their car buying decision. So the way you market to them, the way you present your brand to them, the way you bring them into your dealerships, really important. Last year alone, 3.5 million hours worth of YouTube videos on auto reviews was done. Like people spent 3.5 million hours looking at auto reviews. We're not talking about 10-minute videos, we're talking about 1 to 2 minute videos. Capture their attention and then let them get the information, be a valuable resource to them. And they are more likely to come back to your dealership, come back to your brand, come back to your team to do business with you, because that's where they got that information from. When we look at video marketing, 70% of people were influenced by YouTube. That's more than TV, newspaper, magazines. That type of marketing is becoming more and more important to leverage and use as we progress. And finally, we have the new consumer. We'll call her Alex. She's late teens to mid-20s. They've got the I want it now, I need it now type of attitude. They're mobile dependent, meaning they probably ride share. They probably have used Uber, they probably have used Lyft often, but they're willing to make a purchase based on the affordability of the car. They're very practical. They don't like people. They don't want to be in front of people. They don't want to talk when they're in the dealership. And they're only going to come into 1 or 2 dealerships before they actually make that purchase. So knowing that, when you get someone that would be categorized as a new consumer, you've got a small window of opportunity to win that business over. Because they'll spend even more time. They'll spend 15 plus 17 hours online researching, knowing what they want. So when they walk into the dealership, they're not looking to be wooed by a slick salesman. They're looking to transact, right? So don't blow that deal when they come into your dealership and they're ready to go. They don't want to be upsold. They want to get right to the facts. And they're probably looking to purchase and lease probably sooner than non-users of rideshare programs. So what does the technology look like in today's day and age? We have beacons. So beacons are small Bluetooth battery-operated devices that send out signals. If you think about the old lighthouses, what they did was they sent out beams of light so that people could know, sailors could know where the lighthouse was. So in that same sense, beacons are transmitting Bluetooth signals. They're like, from physical landmarks, they're sending out these signals to target the right person at the right time with the right message. 3.5 million active beacons will be installed by the end of 2018. Okay, these are little physical Bluetooth transmitting devices located throughout dealerships, located throughout retailers, maybe on some physical landmarks on the road. And the reason is because a study of some major retail dealers found that there was an increase in the number of in-store visits driven by mobile advertising, driven by mobile search ads. These are visits that would not have happened had it not been for this beacon technology, driven by beacon technology. So it's important to be willing to innovate and say, well, I've tried mailers, I've tried, this special event RSVP lists, I've tried the traditional phone calls. How else are people willing and wanting to buy cars? How else are people getting into dealerships? Because we know that once the person is there in the dealership, there's a good chance that you've got an opportunity to win that business over. So use beacon technology to bring them into your store. So what does that look like in an auto dealership, in a car dealership? Your potential customer walks into the store. Maybe it's a busy Saturday, and all your salespeople are tied up on the floor with handling other people, questions and whatnot. Imagine there at that point, if there's a beacon located in a car that they were interested in. As they approach that car, it drops information, sends a notification to their phone. Maybe it provides them, and you can decide this, whether it's pricing information, warranty information, specs. Maybe it's the sale. There's a sale on this car, special pricing. So that customer experience becomes a better one initially right off the bat because they get that experience that they're warmed. That lead is warmed at that point before they can transact, before someone can physically go to them and meet with them. So they might receive the best info on their phone, and then they decide, I'm going to move forward, or at that point I'm going to meet a salesperson on the floor. Whether a deal is made or not, the information you receive is highly valuable because it can give patterns of how they're walking through the dealership. What information is most interesting to that potential customer, or the amount of customers that have gone by that potential car. It's up to you what you want to push them, the notifications you want to push them. Is it going to be information on the car, warranty information? Maybe it's the dreaded test drive. Because people want to test drive a car, but they don't want to go through the hassle of registering, getting set up for that test drive. Imagine they can be set up initially on their mobile so that a salesperson can meet with them and say, we've already collected information, you're ready for that test drive, let's go and do that, without having to go the extra step and do that in person. You can link that to videos, comparisons of features, but beacon technology is revolutionizing the way customers will interact with your dealership. Okay? What information are they getting from you that hooks them in to want to stay there with you? What information are they getting through beacon technology that'll help them have that good customer experience? And people are doing it from wearable tech now as well. Think about smart watches and how people are connected to that as well. And that brings us to micro moments. And this is critical. People want things now. People want things immediately. So micro moments are situations that cause people to do, to know, to buy, or to go. And they're not waiting. This is happening immediately. So I think about a situation where I'm at a soccer practice, And I'm sitting there, I know I'm there with my kids for the next hour. What am I gonna do for the next hour? I'm probably gonna watch a little bit, but also be on my mobile device. Maybe I'm researching something. In fact, recently I was watching my kids' soccer practice, and I was thinking, oh, they need a new water bottle. And I started looking at water bottles online, looking at different types, what's recommended, what some of the pricing is. And then I'm thinking, all right, there's a few locations around me. I start driving, and I'm on my GPS, and then all of a sudden I get a drop down saying, here's the water bottle. This is the price, this is the sale, go there now. And it leads me to an actionable task where I actually end up going to that store, because I think, oh yeah, that's great, like what a great price. This is the water bottle I want, and I'm gonna go and buy it. And then what happens for the next month? I'm on Facebook, and as I'm scrolling through posts, I've got ads for water bottles that drop in, right? Different types of water bottles. Helping brand your business, helping brand your dealership. It's like the old, anyone watch Seinfeld? Back in the day, George Costanza, he left the big hat with the lady, and he said, Jerry Seinfeld told George, why are you doing that? And he said, oh, it's like the Men in commercial. As long as I hear Costanza 7 times, I'm probably gonna win her over, or she'll have me in her mind, right? So the more times you can get in front of that mobile user, more times you can get in front of that person with the same message, it engraves it in their mind. And that's what we want to do. We want to leverage technology to make your company, your dealership be more useful and be there with the information that's critical when that micro moment occurs. So when that micro moment occurs and they're thinking about buying, making that purchase, will your dealership be there, or will it be a competitor's? And be accountable. Have that seamless customer experience where they can go to you for information, they can go to you as a consultant. Because if they can go to you as a consultant, the chances that they're going to want to buy from you increases exponentially. So what does that look like in a car dealership? People have, is it the right car for me moment? Which car is best for me? Can I afford it? Where should I buy it from? And am I getting a deal moment? Right in the dealership, this is happening. Right as they're driving by your dealership, this is happening. And they've been thinking about it, and all of a sudden they're ready to take action. Your dealership, your team, if they're there to begin with, if they're there when that is occurring, you are going to win the business. But you have to get there, because one touch on the mobile device will lead to another touch, which will lead to another touch, which leads to an action. It's been proven that people that are searching on the mobile device, what they'll do is, as they're doing their reviews, as they're searching for information, they're looking, and if they're looking for that information and you're providing it, they're going to touch your phone number and call you directly from the mobile. They're not going to back out of that browser and then go to the phone and dial your number. They're one-clicking with that action, and they're going to dial your dealership. And that's where we all want to be. We want to bring those leads. We want to bring those hot potential customers right into the dealership. So, give you an example. We've got Stacy. Drives a mid-size SUV, expecting another child. Her micro moment is, can I really live with this mid-size SUV? No, probably not. I've got to buy either a larger SUV or a minivan. Now she's going to do hours and hours of research to see which brands are the best, which models are the best, and decide and narrow down really what it is she wants to buy. And if that's your dealership and she gets to you, you've got that opportunity to seal the deal. So in this example, 139 Google searches to find out what she wanted. And she was being geared and directed to the people and the companies that were providing useful information. It doesn't always have to be for the sale. When you provide that useful information, when you provide that customer experience, you'll get organically searched more, and it drives more people to your dealership. And that's what we want at the end of the day. So, buying into mobile tech. At the beginning, I said, buy into mobile tech. B is be willing to disrupt yourself. Use mobile technology to set yourself apart. And you need to win those micro moments. When you're meeting face-to-face, tech is great, but the mobile device has to be put away when you are meeting with someone, when you're speaking with someone. Because that shows that you respect them and they deserve your full attention. Unless, of course, you're using that phone to help value their trade or do some information research for them right there on the spot. When used well, new technologies can really empower and accelerate your business growth. But never forget that there's always a human on the other side of it, right? So again, that boils down to buying into mobile tech. How are you going to use mobile tech to bring you more business, drive your business forward? Not get so distracted with everything out there with the hurry sickness, but really focus your business to drive the efficiencies. Be willing to disrupt yourself. Embrace change, because change is all around you. Change is happening in the auto industry. There's different ways that people are researching and buying cars. Make sure you're up to date with the technology that's disrupting traditional methods. Use mobile tech to set yourself apart. How will you get ahead to the customer? You have to know and understand how they're researching, how they're buying, what the research habits and behaviors are like. Okay? And finally, you need to win those micro moments. Will your company be there? Will you be there? Will your company be useful? Google yourself weekly. Google your dealership weekly and see what others are saying about you. So, people will say no still, and I get it. There's probably 3 reasons why people say no. People will say no because I'm too busy. And, don't you have enough time to drive your business forward? If you think about a week, it's 10,080 hours. 1% of that is around 10 hours. Do you have 10 hours to put towards growing your business, driving your business forward, putting in a little bit of short-term pain for long-term pleasure? 2, people will say no because I'm not used to technology. I'm an old dog. We've all heard that before, right? They don't want to learn new things, but people are changing, and you don't want to be struggling behind the times. And 3rd, people say, I've tried technology, I had a bad experience. You know what? I've had a bad meal before. It doesn't mean I'm not going to eat again. Okay? So again, the 3 takeaways is be willing to disrupt yourself, use technology to set yourself apart, and then you have to win those micro moments to drive your business forward. Thanks for your time today. Any questions, any comments, anything that has come up?